All right, so it's been a while since I did an update. I think the last one that I did was that client out south that needed IT help. And basically kind of how that one went is I showed up and they needed a backup for whenever their IT was gone. And so that's not really a client. I mean, the thing is that it was kind of like some okey doke, to be honest with you, because it was I got back to him with, a quote and kind of a proposal on service and things like that. And then they called me up and were like, oh yeah, we want to use you, but we don't want to install any of your RMM software. Our IT guy's leaving tomorrow for vacation. Can you be available tomorrow just in case we need help? It was kind of one of those things, and I never heard from anybody, because the thing is that in actuality, what I needed to do was get in there, get my remote software installed, meet and greet with the people that are actually working there, so I can kind of put a face to a name. So when they call me, they're not just yelling at some person on the other end. They might feel a little bit more compassionate and not go crazy if for some reason Excel's not working or whatever their little stupid issue was. So whatever. So that ended up being a bust. Who knows? When they get back, they might still want the RMM software, but I think it was just blowing smoke just to get somebody to help whenever this guy was gone for a week. So basically, I'm going to tell them to buzz off. If I'm not just going to be a freaking, I'm not going to be an MSP on standby waiting for your IT guy to go on vacation, and we're just going to kick in with, over the top, extreme, IT support. Nah, if we're not getting monthly money, I ain't messing with you, honey, for real. So anyways, so then I had another client that is a church that I let go of back in January. And I let them know that, hey, look, I can't mess with you guys because you guys are not a monthly, customer. And so they got back with me a week or two ago and was like, hey, we want you to, provide us with your RMM software, backup software, all that stuff. So of course, all that's a disaster down there. The server won't stay on. It's just going to be an absolute mess. So in the end, I'm going to do a bunch of free work for them to get them to the point where I can actually bill them. They've got 20 computers, so I mean it's $100 a month, forever if I can get them up and working. 125 if I can get the backup software in there. So anyways, I ran across this today, Clicky Stats, and that's the reason why I wanted to make the video, because it looks like finally I'm starting to see some traffic. I mean, there were days went by where it'd be like one visitor, two visitors, and then I look and it's basically not even a visitor, it's just like web crawlers. So it looks like I'm getting some traffic, and I think I know the reason why, and that is email marketing. So I think in the last videos I kind of touched on this a little bit, but I've kind of put in Google ads on the back burner and all this other kind of stuff on the back burner for the time being, so I can focus on email marketing. And the reason being is that with email marketing, if you can get this stuff set up correctly, you could literally send out hundreds of messages per day, and say 50% of them arrive, or 75% of those messages arrive, and you send out 1,000. That's anywhere from maybe 200 to 500 encounters with potential clients that are seeing your name, seeing your message, getting your company in front of them. So my goal is to scrape about 25,000 local clients or local email addresses. So I'm up to 10,000 right now, and so I've begun that campaign. So I think that's the reason why I'm actually starting to see a little bit of traffic to the website. So the way that I scrape clients is I use Clay, and then to send those out, I use Instantly, and I also use ManyReach. So I'm just gonna walk you through just real quick. This has been running for a few days, so looks like there's 1,000 leads in here and about 13% completed. So with this, it's just a question for somebody. Hey, here's a question. And it's basically kind of a sales spiel for Kansas City Tech. So as you can see, so on Friday, up to Friday, I had a 78% open rate. But they say don't run your email campaigns over the weekend, and I let mine run over the weekend because I'm trying to get as many emails out as I possibly can, because you only got so many shots per day to get emails out. So with every email account that you have, you can only send out 25 emails. Anything over 25, you're going to burn the email address out or even burn the domain out. So I'm trying to stick under the radar. So far I've sent out 300 messages. 216 of those have been opened, and I've gotten one response back, which was, no, we're not interested. So at least I know that these messages are getting in front of somebody. And so let me see if I can show you what the actual message says. Here it is right here. So first name of the person, question. So the reason why I did that is because when you send out email marketing, cold email is different from anything else. And if you ask someone a question, they're more likely to get back to you than if you just try to sell them some kind of a sales pitch. So, and on this one, the thing is that I'm going to have to do this a million times before I get the messaging down just perfectly. But for this particular message, this one goes out and says the following, and you can read that here. You can actually pause it if you want to. And so that one's not doing, it's getting opened. And I think the reason why it's getting opened is, if I go back here, see that subject line? That's actually what gets messages opened, is that subject. If it's just some stupid stuff in there, some sales pitchy crap in the subject, and they know that they don't know who you are, they're just going to get rid of it. But when this comes in, as you can see the preview, it shows the person's actual name. So Madison, a question for Kansas City Tech. So she's thinking, oh, there's a question here. I don't know who this is, but maybe I'll just check it out real quick. And then boom, there it is, message right there. All right, so and then the same thing over here. I also use ManyReach. So ManyReach is a lot cheaper than Instantly, and it has pretty much the same features. The cool thing about ManyReach is that you can put as many contacts as you want into their CMR, where with the Instantly, you're only I'm on kind of like the low end plan, so I can only upload 1,000 contacts at any time, which blows. Here I've got a lot more than that. So with this one, I've sent out 232 messages for this particular campaign, and delivered, as you can see, 99% of those were delivered. So that's only a few bounce backs, and I'll show you what's attributed to that. So opened 48%, so half of the messages I sent were opened, looked at, eyes on, Kansas City Tech, in their head. So that's just email number one. So I've got this set up so that there's multiple steps. So here's what this one says, and we'll just do a test and preview. So this one's a little bit different. This one is name, and then X, and then my name, Kansas City Tech. And then this one right here, you can read this yourself. This one's a little long, but I'm just trying to testing the water, seeing what works and what doesn't work. And so let me go back to this other one here. So that's the top 10 IT challenges. This is basically just letting people know that, hey, look, there's a bunch of challenges that small businesses face. Let me just tell you a couple of them and see if you guys are prepared for this or not. And then if they are, great. If not, then they can call me. So let's go back to campaigns, and we'll do this one right here, question. And so with this one, it looks like this one has a 39% open rate, whereas last week this one had a higher open rate. But my guess is that over the weekend nobody checked their messages, so some of these stats kind of fell off. So my guess is that if I were to only run this Monday through Friday, or even Monday through Thursday, because a lot of people don't work on Friday, so Monday through Thursday run the campaign, or Monday through Friday run the campaign, my stats are going to be a lot better than what they are right now. So with that, 100 people opened it. So we got 2 campaigns running. So it looks like, 200 people here. So, anywhere from 500 to 600 people have seen my message over the last 1 week. And so I'm really ratcheting this up right now. So right now, so whenever you add an email address, you have to wait a couple weeks. So if it's a brand new domain, you got to wait about a month. So as you can see, I've got all of these email addresses, but only 4 of them are working right now. The rest of them are just in warm-up mode. They're not ready. So actually, I think these 2 down here, these 2 might be sending stuff out already, just because I've had this domain for a long time. But if it's a fresh, brand new domain, you gotta let it sit here for a month. Email marketing is not easy. I mean, it sucks. I mean, think about having to you want to get ready right now, get started right now, and you can't. You gotta wait at a minimum 2 weeks after you get all of the stuff set up. So what I do is I scrape lists using Clay, and then I verify my contacts twice. I verify through this service right here, and over the last and I don't know why this stats is not correct, because they give you 100,000 credits when you sign up, and I've got 20 left. So I've already verified or ran through their system 80,000 contacts. in the last like, I don't know, like week. So the way that I do that is so I'm just going to show you like the best way to scrape if you're a local service industry, MSP, air conditioner, locksmith, whatever it is. If you're doing business to business, well, locksmith probably wouldn't work, but business to business sales. So, some kind of like marketing firm, web design, whatever it is. So I'm going to do find people. I'm just going to go through a walkthrough here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose companies that have quite a few employees. And I want to, for this particular example, I don't want to mess around with, the smaller companies. So then I'm going to come in and say, okay, I want all C-class. These are all decision makers. I don't want to mess with anybody, send a message to anybody that's not a decision maker. Don't want it. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say for the cities, so I'm in Kansas City. I'm just going to say Kansas City. And the thing is that you could put any city in here. You just have to enter the city and just press enter. So just for the heck of it, because I know Lee's Summit is not just automatically going to pop, as you can see. I'm just going to create that. And so now all I'm searching for is any company that's large that is, and basically the people in the list are going to be C-class decision makers in Lee's Summit. And I'll just do preview. And so what this will do for me, I'm telling you, I'm giving you some inside baseball here. This is like for real. So I didn't find anybody. Okay, who cares? That's because probably what we'll do is we'll just add like the smaller kind of companies in here and see if we can find anybody. We'll give it a second. So, and the reason why I said nothing is because Lee's Summit isn't a large city. If we did like New York, all right. So hold on a minute. Let me change that here to. We're just going to change that to Kansas City. And go back up here, and we're going to say any company that has that many employees, and we'll just hit preview. And so what it's going to do is it's going to gather the list, and it found almost 9,000 people. And so the thing is that, as you can see, their email address is not there, though. They don't have their email address listed. So you're going to be able to scrape all this, but in order to purchase, or in order to obtain their email addresses for all these people, you're going to pay a bunch of money or spend a bunch of clay credits. So I have a method to find their email address that is a fraction of the cost. So I'll save that for another day, or if somebody in the comments says they want to see what that looks like, let me know. I'll show you how to do it. All it is some formulas that you run after you've done this, and another service that you have to sign up for, which is like $70 to do that. Because I'm on the $350 a month plan right now on Clay, and I'd blow through probably all the credits just trying to scrape all the data that's here. Because see, you get 10,000 credits, so every time you scrape somebody's email address, it's probably going to cost you 5 to 6 credits. So times 9,000, so that's like 45,000 credits to get those. Dude, I'm not doing that. So I've still got all the same credits that, like when I first signed up for Clay, I still got all those same credits. I haven't used any of them. So I think in another video, when I first signed up for Clay, I blew through like the first round of credits in like 30 minutes. Blew through all of them because I didn't know what I was doing. I was using Clay to find their email addresses. You don't want to do that. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. Don't do that. It's a big waste of money. You can do it like in extreme cases if like you found like 10 or 20 CEOs and you really want them and it's going to cost you like 100 credits, knock it out. But when you're doing huge lists, you do not want to do that. So I'm going to save that. You know what? Because the truth of the matter is that it's like this information is worth thousands of dollars. I'm not going to give it away in this dumb video. If you want the information, hit me up in the comments. Let me know that you want to know about it. I'll make another video about it for real. So, so that's pretty much it for this. Still trying to get some new clients. Still doing okay out here. Still having pretty good days. I had a $2,000 day the other day. Like that was freaking awesome. First time I ever had that. But that was like a current client. I've got a client that's just growing like crazy. So probably going to be making a lot of money with them over the next couple of months, just because they've been buying out companies, and when they buy out a company, they've got to take over their IT. That's where I come in and I help them out. So that's that church. Basically, they're saying, or I don't know what's going on. Amber Light using on the server means there's some kind of issue, so they don't have a backup on that server. So I hope that it's not toast. If it is, it is. It ain't my fault. I ain't been there in 6 months. So I pray though that it's not. So anyways, I just blew some shit on the camera when I did that. All right, so that's it for me for today. Like, follow, subscribe, share, all that stuff. MSP in the Midwest. I moved into this office, I think, in the beginning of April. I'm trying to pick up new clients. Just doing email marketing right now to see how that goes. Still got my website up and running. Did a bunch of backlink building. Did a bunch of SEO. Did a bunch of, added a bunch of new content. Created a Google business listing. Got that like verified finally. Making small, moves every day to increase the business. So just real quick, also one of the things that took forever to do, and again, keep in mind, I'm just basically scraping from the Kansas City area. So I've scraped 11,000 addresses so far. Another piece of software that I use is this right here. It's the Lead Sniper. So this is like $150. So what I can do is I can type in, say for instance, like, restaurants. Well, let's not do a restaurant because nobody wants to freaking no one wants to like support a restaurant. So let's just say Lee Summit hair salon, right? So I'm just gonna hit start. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna use Google Maps and it's gonna scrape all the contact data from every single hair salon in Lee Summit. And it's going to do that automatically. The only crappy thing is that it's using your computer to do it. So you got to sit there and wait till it's done. But once it's done, you just export to a CSV file. It has their email address already in there. Upload it to your CRM, and then boom, you can start sending them emails. So that's another alternative instead of using Clay. Because Clay's honestly, you're going to need a $350 a month plan. I hate to tell you, but if you're going to scrape and you're going to, do what you really want to do, you're going to really get into this, you're going to need that $350 a month plan. That's the one that I'm on. Not that I'm going to use it forever, because once I scrape, about 25,000 contacts, and I don't even know if there are that many in Kansas City area, to be honest with you, because I got all the C-class from every city, all over the Kansas City area. So that's okay. That's pretty much it. I don't want to keep this video going forever. So still keeping it going, still keeping it moving, still keeping it grooving, still trying to get more clients, make more money, get an employee back here, still trying, still grinding, still hustling, still got my mind focused. I need to do some affirmations in the morning, because the morning that I actually had that client call, I did a little affirmation out front before I came inside, and then like an hour or two later, dude, somebody's in my email wanting help. So I need to start visualizing more, start, putting out to the world. I want clients, I want clients, I want clients, just to let, the universe align that for me. So that's what I'm gonna work on also. So like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.